Hey, I'm Josh.
And I'm Ray.
This is It's Just Our Opinion podcast and video.
Hey, we just want to come to you today and do one. We've been here in Washington, D.C. for the past 2 days. Watched some great fireworks, great speech by President Trump yesterday, and the airplanes are just amazing. The day we got out and just was sightseeing, and we just want to talk to you a little bit about it and give you some insight on what we think would be a good trip for you in D.C.
Oh yeah. Let's just go back to where we started out the trip. One thing I want to tell on Ray a little bit here, as if you ever travel with Ray, one thing you'll learn if you're taking vehicles up, we're complete opposites as we travel. I like to plan my stops and I put my destination in the GPS, and I always try to beat the time, and I bet we stopped 15 times with Ray because he loves to eat.
Oh, we do. And not only eat, but, those Mountain Dews that's in those machines as you drive by the stores, they just holler my name. Now, I'm not doing a commercial for Mountain Dew, but I sure do love them. Well, and so we probably did stop 10 or 15 times. Now, twice was for gas, so.
How long do you think, we're going to take a little bet right here, a friendly Christian bet. How long do you think it'll take us to get back home tomorrow?
Well, I figure, the GPS says it takes 12 hours, but I'm predicting probably 14.
Well,
what do you think?
I'd say that's about right. We may take 2 days to get back home, but that's a different story. Our time up here, it's been a great time. It's been jam-packed the past 2 days. We're actually staying here at the Washington Hilton right outside of where Reagan got shot, which is a pretty amazing attribute in itself.
Oh, it is. It really is. And I've stayed here a bunch of times, but it's always kind of emotional for me because, Reagan, to me, was the best president we've ever had. I mean, he was great, and I remember
That's just our opinion.
That's just our opinion.
But he was.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember the day he got shot. We was watching on the news and stuff. Of course, and I took a day off work just to watch to make sure he made it through the night. It was very emotional, and just something about when you talk about the Washington Hilton, you can't think about the Washington Hilton without thinking about Reagan.
Yeah, that's right. And this whole trip has been a very emotional trip in itself, being the Independence Day and 4th of July weekend and everything that's going on. I will say that as we traveled across Washington and as we met different people and as we interacted with different people, you turn on TV, whether it's Fox News, CNN, whatever the case may be, and you always hear one side or the other side. And the thing that I love being here with 4th of July and here on Independence Day was there was a sense of togetherness when we walked through Washington. People were talking to each other. It might have been different views. I know you see all the protests and all the things that go on TV, but there really it wasn't that many protests.
No, we really didn't. We really didn't see any of that. There was a few signs here or there, but it's just something about July the 4th brings everybody together. It don't matter if you're a Democrat, a Republican, Independent, or anything else. We seen the millions of people that was there yesterday to watch the fireworks and to watch the planes fly over during the Salute to America festival stuff.
We don't know who they voted for, but we were all together as one that day.
Exactly, and we really don't care who they voted
for. That's right.
We was all Americans that day, and that's what makes America great, and that's why it was great to be a part of this. My wife has been wanting to come see the fireworks for years in D.C. Now we've done all kind of things in D.C., but we've never been here on July the 4th, and so this is the year to do it. And what a great year that it was to come because of the festivities,
the Salute to America,
the new stuff that is happening, and we really enjoyed it. And as you said, everybody just seemed to get along. Never seen any issues, no problems, and. It's just what America's about.
Well, let's just go through our days and kind of the things. We want to give you a roundabout of Washington, maybe give you some advice on what to see, what not to see. One thing I will tell you, we had a lot of positives, a lot of ups. The grandkids loved it, my kids loved it, the family loved it. But the thing that I would say that brings this to the table is what I bring to the table is, July is a very hot month.
Oh, it is. I was just thinking, Dave, I may not ever come back in July. I sweated more today than I did, than I ever remember. I got home and my shirt was so wet that I'm not even going to wash it. I figured just dry and be clean. It may smell.
And thank goodness I'm not riding back with Ray, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I will say, if I do come back in July, I'll probably take a lot more cabs. I bet we walked over 15 miles in the past 2 days.
Oh, yeah, at least. And it wasn't because we couldn't afford a cab. It's just once you get out and start doing these events and going from museum to museum, it's just, you never think about a cab. You just feel like, hey, it's just a few blocks down to where we need to go next. And, but it really was hot.
And a lot of the roads were closed yesterday, so a cab wouldn't have done us any good. As we started yesterday, we started the festivities at the parade. And we'll show you the parade in one of our videos, a snippet of it in a little bit. But we started out the parade, and we saw a lot of cool things in the parade. I personally, one of the things that drew to my attention is seeing everything from the parade, the military march, the military bands, the marching bands, high school marching bands, and also agriculture perspective. One of the coolest pictures I got was the tractors coming through and seeing that. So.
Oh yeah, they would have tractors in a parade in Washington D.C. is something you just never thought about seeing or something. So it really was neat.
And the thing for me in agriculture. Agriculture is one of the backbones of our society in America, because it was farmers who laid down their plows and went to war during the American Revolution. They really fought for our independence.
Oh yeah, like I say, there was thousands of people that lined the street to see the parade too, and it was talking about really hot, and that's another good example of people coming together and being friendly. We was standing on the corner. And a lady that I had never seen before and probably never will see again.
That's right.
Had an umbrella, and she offered me that umbrella to get under so that I could get out of the sun. And I held it for about 30 minutes, and I bet she was wondering if I was going to run off with it. But that was very nice. She didn't have to do that. She could have told me just move out of the way, but she didn't. And so all of this, it's just the spirit in D.C. this time of year.
That's right.
Great.
And then moving on from that, we traveled over to see the salute to America that Donald Trump put on, and walking through. It was packed. When we say it was packed, it was packed. It was packed to the rim. Past the Washington Monument, it was unbelievable how much was packed. But sitting there, we waited an hour and a half in the rain for it to get started, and we sat there and watched the speech, but I cannot tell you, and I cannot describe in words what we saw when those planes flew over. The people that were chanting USA, that were singing "Proud to be an American," and I went back to my childhood, my boyhood, seeing my son look up at those planes and waving at them. It was exciting, and it was really made you proud to be an American with that. So, if they had that again, I would highly recommend. No matter what party you're part of, what you do, what you see, and no matter what president does it. I would say come back to Washington, D.C. to see something like that.
Oh, it was a great event. There was people that, from the Lincoln Memorial lined up all the way to the Washington Monument. You're talking about millions of people lined up. Now, we were very fortunate enough that we was able to get tickets, so we was fairly close to the front. And but we probably wouldn't have them next time. We'd probably be at the Washington Monument too, which is a good place to be, though.
It was great. Fireworks were great. Then we started our day today sightseeing, and I've seen several of the buildings and monuments and things that I would recommend you go into. If you've never seen the monuments, the war memorials, I would. We didn't get to see those today, but I would recommend seeing those. The Vietnam War Memorial is phenomenal, and it will really put you in perspective of how many people lost their lives during the Vietnam War.
Oh yeah, it is. Like I say, the wall's just full of names. One of our favorites has always been the Korean War Memorial. Those statues look like real soldiers standing there holding their weapons, and the radio man and all. All the monuments are just.
So lifelike.
Oh, it is. It's just really great. And it's a great family event.
That's right. Taking your kids to see that and let them understand what sacrifice has been made for our freedom. here in America and abroad. It's an amazing thing for your kids to see. We started our day out at the Capitol, took pictures at the Capitol, and if you ever get to go inside the Capitol, meet with your senators, your congressmen, we didn't get to do it today, we just saw the Capitol, but I would recommend, I've done it before, getting to know who your congressman are, who it is, who your senator is.
Oh yeah, they have the visitor center. You can go in and they give tours, and you really get to see a lot. Of course, like I said, they're in recess right now, so the visitors going in today couldn't go in and see the action in the chambers and stuff. But it's great. The people there are so nice and friendly, and I mean they know that when you come up that you own those buildings, and they just really put forth a good effort to make sure you enjoy your stay there. And I would highly recommend that tour at the Capitol.
Absolutely. We moved on to the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. One of the funny stories from that is we were walking in, we met a gentleman. It was so hot outside, and we walked in, and everywhere we went, we met people and have conversations with people.
We're not shy, as y'all know. We're not shy. We talk to anybody that'll talk back to us.
Oh yeah, good or bad.
good or bad, yes, exactly.
As we walked in, we had a gentleman that said, y'all can have the space, we can have the air. He wanted the air conditioner as much as, and it was refreshing getting into that building and getting cool, but the kids enjoyed that one. That was the one that the kids really look forward to seeing, and traveling around, seeing the different space things, astronauts, the different planes that has shaped America, that has made America as far as aviation goes.
Oh, it is. It's really neat. All you kids, anybody from, our grandsons, folk, all the way up to I'm a good 40. Oh, well, just go ahead and say it. I'm 59, and I still enjoy it. Seeing the planes and stuff.
I was about to scoot away from you from a lightning strike there. So, but yeah, seeing the plane, seeing all that, it was absolutely amazing. We went through, walked by the Washington Monument. I will say your wife Gina takes many pictures of the White House and the Washington Memorial than anybody I've ever met.
Oh, she loves the Washington Monument. I mean, at our house, we probably have thousands of pictures of that one building, and it's easy to take because it's kind of narrow.
She took 1,000 today.
Yeah, well, she loves that, and of course, when you turn around the other way, you get a picture of the Capitol, and that's just a great view, and we just the view, if nothing else. If you can't get inside those places, just the view. But I will say this: the air inside the Space Museum was so much better. We didn't really have thermometers, but I bet it was at least 147 degrees outside when we got inside. I mean, it was worth it. We didn't want to leave because
you like stretching the truth today, don't you?
Well, it may not have been 147.
Maybe a 146.
Yeah, 146. But it was great. All the kids loved it, and like I said, when we got outside, and remember this: if you come to this place, when you come outside, don't buy your drinks inside. Come outside. Water bottles there was only $1 outside at the little concession stand.
Ray stopped at a few of the fountains and put his tongue in and got a drink.
Yeah, but the last one I had to quit. That fish, it actually had small fins on it. And so don't do that. And the signs tell you not to put your feet in it, but it didn't say anything about your tongue. But I would not recommend that at all. I mean, don't do that.
I will say make sure if you come to Washington, wear good shoes. You're going to walk miles and miles and miles to see things, and you're not going to fit it all in one day. So make sure you spread time out to see everything. We also walked down. We've seen the White House. We've seen the White House today. You can go outside of town and see, and everybody needs to go to Arlington Cemetery to see that. You also need to go see the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. That's something that every American needs to see once in their life, because you really get perspective of the sacrifice that was made in this country.
Oh yeah, and the thing to remember about that when you see it is, it don't matter rain, sleet, snow. I mean, it don't matter. Even right now while we're talking and it's dark, they're out there going through the routine, guarding that tomb, and they never come in. I mean, those people train for hours and hours and months to get the routine down right and to do it right. in honor of those dead soldiers.
That's right. So I would recommend anytime you come up here, go see that. Mount Vernon's a cool place to go see as well. That was George Washington's home. That's a great tour to take. You've not actually got to see that,
No,
but I have.
I've never been there. I'm going.
It was very interesting. Interesting to see. I will also. We stopped was the American History Museum at one of the Smithsonian's. That's cool to see that because you get the Francis Scott Key flag where the Star Spangled Banner was wrote. To me, that was one of the most breathtaking moments walking through there to see that flag. Huge in history, and it was amazing to see. You can't take pictures of that, or I'll show you guys that because they're afraid the pictures will, if their flash goes off, it does things to the exhibits.
You know, the Hope Diamond's also in that.
That's right.
And that's the biggest diamond in the world. And, you know, every time we go to see that thing.
Am I going to fact check you on that?
Well, well, you don't check too many facts, but, you know, we've actually hold it a few times, but they've never let us do that. I don't know if they just don't trust us because we're from Alabama, or, you know, they trust us with a national championship trophy, but they won't trust us with a Hope Diamond.
I got nothing to say about that. So we go to all these things, see all these things. The one that I would recommend probably the most, one of my favorites, is the Holocaust Museum. I would go through that and understand that section of history, understand the lives that were lost of a tragic event. That museum was one that you know, I didn't walk out of that with a dry eye. So I would recommend that one as being one of the top ones that I've seen as I've came to Washington a few times.
Well, you know, just coming to D.C. is emotional, knowing that it's our nation's capital and knowing the struggles that this country's been through for us to still have a place like D.C. that we can bring our kids to. And hey, we're the greatest country in the world, and our leaders is here. Whether we agree with all their decisions or not, we're still the greatest country in the world. And coming and seeing those buildings and seeing the places where our government runs and operates, the decisions they make. You know, one of the neat things that, Josh, you didn't mention is the agriculture department, where they actually have the farmers market. They had corn growing outside and other vegetables. I mean, that's kind of neat. And I think there were certain months that they do that. But now that was really neat, too, to come and see that. I mean, I know we just good old Alabama people, and we see that vegetables growing all the time. But how many kids do you think from Pennsylvania and Ohio and Illinois and even up here never see vegetables growing, and they can go by there and see that? So it's a lot to do up here. And I would highly recommend a DC trip for the family to come and just see what all's happening here. I mean, there's so many things to see.
That's right.
You know, one of my favorite places to go to is Union Station. You just don't think about Union Station, but you know, it's a train station where they got all the food courts and
That's right.
and different types of food, and you got the shops and stuff there. But it's historic. It's been there, you know, since the town's been here since, and so you know that's another good place to see. So there's so much to do here. You just need to plan a trip.
That's right, and you know, you speak about train. That was my 4-year-old's favorite part of this whole trip, being able to take the metro around because he loves trains, and he thought that was the coolest thing. That go underground and get on that thing and travel from place to place. He thought that was the most interesting thing.
He did. He loved it. I heard it probably 20 times. Papa, we're gonna ride the train, and we're gonna ride the train. He loved it. Now he likes the escalators too. But, you know, he wants somebody to carry him on the escalators.
So you've probably seen a lot of commotion going on right now, and this has been going on in the hotel for quite some time. What is your name?
My name is Kurt.
Kurt, I'm Ray, and he's Josh. We do a little
podcast.
Nice to meet you, gentlemen.
Little podcast.
And we did a little video. Why are y'all in town?
So we have the North Atlantic Galverband, which is the biggest German group, and they all meet from all over North America, and they all come together in some different place every 2 years.
That is awesome.
So this year just happens to be in the wonderful place in DC.
That's awesome. Well, we wanted our audience to see, they see all this stuff going on.
Oh, we're
People
all just
coming-
walking back and
people
forth,
coming
going
in,
out.
So we
Yeah.
wanted them to know what was going
Absolutely.
on. So appreciate you talking to us.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure being on the show.
Thank you.
So there you have it. There's a lot of things going on in DC. So, right or wrong, we talked about a lot, and we've seen a lot. We've talked to a lot of people, but in the end,
Well, everything we say is just our opinion.
that's right. It's just our opinion.